to start with a news that I wrote yesterday, that I read yesterday. It was BBC, and they said that Spain begin to easy coronavirus lockdown measures. So
Hmm.
can you comment it? Is it it's good news, no?
No, I don't think it's good news. I'm actually not very, I don't know. I don't have all the numbers, of course, but the problem is what everyone is afraid of is that the fact that maybe it's too soon. So maybe
Mm.
we've been like for a month at home, staying home, and now like it can happen now. It was starting to decrease the number of people who were dying every day,
Mm-hmm.
and now all of a sudden, like they say, okay, now we can start like coming out for homes and everything. And me personally, what I fear is that maybe it's too soon and this will spoil all what we have accomplished so far. I would have waited at least 2 more weeks until before we would have started letting people out. But let's see. Let's see. I was already yesterday walking the dog, and I was already seeing a lot of cars and
Mm-hmm.
people, and I don't know. I don't really agree with this.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but can you predict when it can be like this? When you can to easy coronavirus lockdown measures? Like approximately, can you predict?
Well, as you just said, we are already easing into it. But
Yes.
when it will be over, I have the feeling it will take us until we can forget about this, like, and be kind of safe at least 5 months. That's
Ah.
my prediction. That's my prediction because things are very, very bad. You say you only have two
For
new
yeah.
people sick from this disease in Latvia, in Madrid, where like 2 days ago there was like, I don't know, it was like 1 week ago, like every day we would have 800 people dying every day, plus a couple of thousand, I don't know, hundreds getting the disease every day.
Mm-hmm.
So it if you are saying in Latvia, okay, in 1 month more or less it will be over with your numbers, imagine how it's in Spain.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So and about easing into the quarantine, like when it just got to the point where we were okay, now it's not 800 people dying every day, it's just 600. So okay, we can start letting people
Mm.
out. Okay.
Yes.
Not really smart, but again, I mean, I'm not in the government. I don't know what other measures there are being taken. I'm not like a specialized scientist in this field. I can just hope they are doing the best decision we can take. Of course, we
Okay.
have to take in consideration the economy and the fact that we need to get, yeah, the machinery working in order for us to not starve, right?
Mm-hmm. Nice. Okay, let's speak something about more funny things, not funny, but more like light things. And I
Mm.
wanted to ask how people actually react on lockdown. Maybe you have a new hobbies now, or maybe you have a new like things to do now. Can you share?
Sure. Me personally, I'm not really sure about what other people do, but I can tell what my experience is. This has been the most productive month of my life.
Nice.
Yes, I think we, or personally, it works for me to have a little bit of pressure in your life, a little bit of maybe even be a little bit scared. And for example, before I thought I was okay, I do a lot of things in my day, but now I'm like really doing a lot of things in my during my day. Like I'm conscious of the fact that we will have to build much of what will be, let's say, destroyed in our economy, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to be getting prepared for it. Like I'm starting a lot. I'm starting things that I felt lazy about doing. Now I'm not lazy. I really feel a lot of pressure and responsibility. I think we cannot afford to be lazy in these times, because I've heard, for example, some relatives of mine that were like, oh cool, this is just like vacation. No, actually not. This is exactly the opposite of vacation. You should be working twice as hard. Of course, again, it's easy to say, but me myself, I'm also having my lazy times as well in the evenings, just watching movies, spending time also with my my family who I live with. So in that looking at it in that way, I'm also kind of enjoying this. It's a terrible word to say, enjoying. I'm trying to make the best out of this situation.
Yes, that's it. Yes, that's really
Mhm.
great. And we have question from our listeners.
All right.
So Zuba asking, what is the problem? Why strict isolation is not really working? How you see it?
Okay, well, I wouldn't say that it is not working. I think we start from a very, very bad situation, and of course, it is working. I mean, if we hadn't isolated ourselves, I think I mean, numbers would be way, way worse. So, what maybe the correct question is, why is it working so slow? I would say. mm First of all, is this isolation is many people are still going out. They're getting fines for it. They're getting caught by the police, and they have to pay a lot of money. There are a lot of people who are very irresponsible. I also think we didn't get enough information from the beginning. For example, there was this when everything started. The media told us not to wear a mask if you
Really?
if you were not ill. So just wear only people who have the disease have to wear the mask. And then it turned out that it was not a good idea. It was better for us if we had masks from the beginning. My assumption is that they said so because they were fearing that everyone would want to buy a mask, and then people who didn't have who had the disease wouldn't have had access to masks. So they were like, okay, let us just tell people that they only need a mask if they have the disease. Had they said so, we would have said, okay, I don't need a mask because I'm not ill, but I should protect myself and make myself a mask is better than not having it. And so that was a bad decision, in my opinion. That was a bad move to lack of information. And well, that's one thing I can see. Another thing that I can see is, or I think there's not some. I mean, I think it's like a relatively new disease, so we were not prepared for it, right? So we can also think that one of the reasons is that.
Okay, yes, I understand it. So we will continue with questions that I prepared before, and people who listening us, you can text questions if you want to the comments or to ask the questions, and Tom will answer, I guess.
Yes, I'll do my best.
Yes, and my question is, what about culture? Maybe you can recommend something to our followers, like maybe some films or festivals or maybe some museums online. What you can say about this?
Okay, culturally wise, I've been watching a lot of movies. Like, of course, we have a lot of time, and movies. I have a friend with whom we created an Excel file, a shared document where we can add movies and stuff.
Oh, that's
And yeah,
nice.
like for recommendations to each other. That's cool. We have like a series, movies and books, and we plan to, well, to have to update that document. Also, I have another group of friends with whom we have like we have Zoom meetings where we discuss a movie. So we agree on watching one movie, we
Wow.
watch it, and a couple of days later we meet up and discuss this movie. Hey, what did you like about this? What do you think about this topic? Do you think it was interesting? Did you think acting was good? And cool thing is we have people from England, Italy, and Spain, I think, and it's interesting. Absolutely, it's. I think this whole situation will change us culturally because
Mm-hmm.
now we will be more open to online courses, online culture. Speaking of which, I have a plan to do with a friend of mine. We decided, okay, let's go for a virtual walk. That means we will meet on, that I've seen that they are museums which have opened like a
Yes,
virtual kind of
yes.
Google Streetwise, like yeah, you can visit the museum, right? And we decided, okay, let us just like we used to meet like for calls, and we said, why don't we have this call and at the same time we be visiting
Oh,
some museum,
yeah.
so we can get good things from this, things that we wouldn't have ever thought of.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I guess culturally we can also take something good from this.
Yes. So, question from Angelica. Give advices how to be productive.
How to be productive. I discovered one very good method. uh, there's this app, it's called Toggle, spelled like this, Toggle.
Uh-huh.
This is the best thing I've found in my whole life. It's basically a time tracking app. So what it enables you to do is to set a timer when you are doing something. So you start the timer, and let's say, for example, I am studying a given topic, right? So I write down that I'm studying. So I can store that entry, that record under the project studying mathematics, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So I know how long I've been working on that. But then when I finish that, I begin another timer for example, let's say okay, now I will relax, and then I go and relax, and then come back, and then set another timer for do whatever I'm doing. In the end, you can see how much time you've spent to each project. For
Wow.
example, I've spent 3 hours relaxing. What I thought it was only, oh, I've relaxed just 3 times 10 minutes. No, actually, you spend 3 hours not doing anything. And you can say, okay, wow, this is shocking. I should try to relax more and do more stuff. And also, for example, now it's not that bad. This has enabled me to see how much time I was wasting, and how much time I try to see how much time I can push into each of my projects.
Mm-hmm.
Example, now I have my projects where I study mathematics. There's a project where I am teaching English to my family. That's another project. I have another project where I am working on just organizing my tools, my programs, my room, my papers. That's another project. And I'm also teaching Spanish online. So I also track how much time I'm spending on my Spanish courses.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see that with colors and percentages, and I'm like, okay, I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Mm-hmm. So it's
Um,
important to visualize the process.
yes, numbers are everything, and you can visualize it, because I think many of us have the problem that the day ends and you're like, why didn't I accomplish anything? Well, well, you can see why.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
That's true.
yeah,
Nice.
that's very strong recommendation. Yep.
So, Sparkling Kiwi is asking, are you happy to come back to Spain if the situation in Latvia is better?
Hmm. That is absolutely a very good question. I am happy that I am here because if I had stayed in Latvia, I I wouldn't have been able to support my family.
Yeah.
So I would be there like, okay, I'm safe, but I would feel, okay, my family's, I cannot do anything for my family. I cannot, just the fact that I'm here and that I'm making them company, that's very good. So I'm very happy in that regard. And myself, I'm happy that I'm with them. So I'm like, okay, it's of course it's an emotional support.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, I oftentimes think, oh my God, I should have stayed in Latvia. But we never know. We never
For
know.
sure.
Anything could have happened. Maybe in the long run, this, if I survive, in the long run, maybe in the long run, this will be better. Or maybe this will make me think, okay, things in Spain don't always work as they should. This is an extra push for me to maybe move to another city or move to another country. We are waiting for you, Always. Thank you very much. So yeah, at least now I'm focusing on learning,
Mhm.
getting as many skills as I can, and be prepared for what's going to be next. Because I think I'm less afraid of the current situation. I'm more afraid of what will be next.
Ah,
And
okay.
right, because it will be tough times also.
But
So
maybe you have a first thing that you will do when lockdown will be over. Do you have some thoughts what you will do for sure? Oh no. Oh, are you here? Yes, now
yes,
you're
no,
here. Okay, nice. Collection is ready. First
yeah.
thing that you will do when lockdown will be over.
Um, Good question. I'm trying to avoid thinking about that. Okay. I think to answer your question, I was already in some hiring processes
Mm-hmm.
for two different companies. I will see how that ends, like job wise. Just start working. That's main priority. But that is to answer the question, what will you do when lockdown is over? That is way different than saying what will you do when it will be safe to go out and do whatever
Ah,
you
okay.
want.
Yes.
Yeah,
That
because
is,
I'm
you
very,
can
of
do
course.
whatever you want when it will be, everything will be over.
Yeah, I think one of the things I really want to go is just go to a public space, to a bar or something, and just have a drink with some friend or with some relative, and just be like, oh, just go out, of course.
Yeah.
Be in a public space and do stuff, and I guess go to a park and just do some pull-ups, or we cannot even sit on a bench because the
Mm.
bench is like has a
Oh,
sign which says no, you cannot sit here. It's
mhm.
dangerous. So just go
But
out and
actually, it's interesting which rules you have, like when you go out, what you can do. You can only walk with dog and go to the shop, or
yeah,
maybe
and to the pharmacy.
to the pharmacy. Okay.
Yeah, there's a small group of people who have very important jobs. I don't know. I don't know.
Oh no, again, connection.
Yes,
Or
hello.
connection again. I don't know why. Why I really don't know why, but I didn't hear you. Can you please repeat?
Yes. Yes, there's a small group of people who can go to work. Those are
Mm-hmm.
people with essential work jobs. That is, people who work at food stores, people who work at pharmacies, who work in some sort of IT, which is needed for whatever. So there are very, very few people who can, and uh, so those people can go out. So
Mm-hmm.
if you have a job who's essential, you can go out. If you have a dog, you can go out. And if you need something, food or what's it called, or medicines, you
Mm-hmm.
can go. So
Yeah.
if it's
Okay.
strictly necessary, basically.
But how you can go to the shop? You can just go to the shop and that's it, or you need some, like, I don't know, paper that you're allowed to go out or something like this?
Uh, you can just go out. You can just go out, but I think the police can stop you, ask you, "Hey, Tom, or you, sir, show me your documentation, your ID." If it happens that
Mm.
you are 5 or 10 kilometers away from your home, then you're like, "Why are you here?" So, and if you don't have like a document or something that says, "Yeah, look, I work as a something," or you have, if you cannot prove that you have a good reason to be out, then you get a fine.
Ah, okay. And how big is fine? How much?
I don't have the numbers. Sorry, I cannot tell you.
Ah,
I
okay.
I I could Google it, but I've heard a couple of hundreds. But
Mm.
I at the beginning I was hearing something over the thousands. I don't think this is a correct number, but I have the feeling I heard something like over 100,000 euros or something.
Mm.
But
Wow.
I don't think that is the number now. I don't know.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. So we have a question from our listeners. What
Yeah.
is the situation in Spain overall? For example, how government acts and what is the mental situation of your nation?
Okay. Well, I'm not very paying very much attention to the news. I can think I can answer better to the mental situation of the nation question, because I think everyone is reacting in a different way. For example, myself, I'm trying to isolate myself from the world. Also,
Mhm.
information wise, I'm trying not to listen to the news, trying not to get depressed, listen, oh, so many people died, this anything's working, or just the bad news. Well, that's what you get on the television. Of course, you need to be informed to see, okay, if there's something new, something that you need to know. So you need to find a balance. I myself, I'm just focused on, okay, now I cannot do anything to solve the situation in the world. The only
Mhm.
thing I can do is get prepared for what's coming next. Next, that's what I'm spending all my time. So personally, I'm trying to get mentally healthy by isolating myself and focusing on trying to become a better person, so to say. But I know that other people are having very, very bad time. They are getting very bored. They are getting depressed. They're getting. There are people who just are going literally crazy and going out. There was this guy some weeks, like a week or two ago, who just went out. I don't know what his problem was. He went out with two swords to the
What?
street, no shirt. He was like screaming in the middle of the street. The police had to come, take him
Oh
down,
my God.
bring him to jail or whatever. And I mean, there are videos on the internet. I got them over WhatsApp, and I was like, "What? What? Like people are going nuts, literally."
Yeah, that's
I
true.
also know that what's this called? Like home crimes, like domestic violence, is growing as well. Of course, people are forced to be. with each other. They don't get very well along or as good as they thought, and that's leading to some yeah, some problems back at home.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's I have to say that's something I had expected, and when I saw it on the television, I was like, yeah, it's
Okay.
very. I also think on the bright side, I have a theory that many people like will be born in 9 months.
9 months. Why you think nine?
Yes, because many people are forced to be at home. It's boring. What could we do? What could we possibly do? I think we will see like a peak in birth rates in 9 months, like at the end of the year
Yes,
in
I
December.
I hope only 9 months, not more. It's like okay.
Yeah, and also, of course, there will be a lot of divorces after this.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
That's
And
my theory.
yeah, yeah, I understand, I understand. So Lika wanted us to smile and she will take a photo. Let's smile a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, I
Yeah, I
guess
hope that's.
that's nice. And next question is from me because if you want to ask something, be free and just text your question and we will be more than happy to answer it.
Yeah,
So,
please ask.
and my question is, do you remember first thought which appears in your mind when you realize that you cannot easily get out of your house because of pandemic?
Mm,
You believe in this, like actually you believed in this virus, or you was afraid, or how it was?
no, I've gone through several phases because we had been hearing from this like over a month before the quarantine started, and
Mm-hmm.
at first I was like, okay, like I don't believe the news, I have to say, right? Because there you only get bad news on when you watch television.
Yeah, that's
So when they started talking about this, I was like, okay, yeah, sure. Like, I mean, it's sad, so many people are dying, but it's not going to be like a pandemic. It's going to be like in a month
mm-hmm.
or something, it will be over. No one will ever talk about this again because that's what we are used to. And I think media has a lot of things to think about in the future um, because they are constantly making things look worse than they are.
Like fake news or something like
Not
this.
fake, but they're like just things appear to be way worse than they actually are on
Okay,
television.
like maximalized or something like this. Yes.
Exactly. Right. So when actually something actually happens that can affect you, you don't believe it.
Ah, okay.
Right. So at the beginning, many people were like, "Oh, this is just stupid. I'm not going to stay home, or I'm not going to do anything or about it. I'm just going to have my life and everything." So it's like this story about this boy who was calling always like, "Oh, the wolf is coming! The wolf
Ah,
is
okay.
coming!" Right?
Yes.
And when the wolf actually came, and no one believed the boy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm very very upset about with the news. Um, I oh my god, this is maybe yeah. Again, I think the media should start thinking to which degree am I responsible about the people who didn't take the right steps because they didn't believe me now.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
yeah, so yeah, again, answering to your question, at first I didn't believe it. I was like, okay, this will be over in a couple of weeks or days or whatever. then it was spreading, and I was like, yeah, but I mean, oh, a given amount of people are dying, and I was like thinking, yeah, but many other people are dying also from other diseases. Why are we uh, like crazy about this? And I was not paying attention to it, and that's a fault from my side. Maybe I should have taken a better look at the numbers and seen, yeah, get more information about it. I was also upset that, for example, they were like the news said a lot like, oh, so many people are dying, and but they didn't say anything about so many people are also recovering from this. So I couldn't compare. Again, maybe that's my fault that I didn't go to the sources and check it for myself. But like, so every time I was like, okay, getting a little bit more concerned, a little bit more concerned, and it got to a point where I was, okay, this is a threat. This is dangerous. So I actually started the quarantine 2 days before the government said, hey, we have to stay at home. So in a way, I don't know, maybe that saved my life. I don't know.
No, it's I think actually we have everyone had the same thoughts, because when you're talking I understand myself as well, because I thought actually the same like you thought. But okay, so everyone who is here, if you want to ask questions, please ask, and we will go like slowly to the end of our conversation. So maybe you have some advices for our followers. 5 life hacks how to stay safe, calm, and positive.
Okay. You are what you have in your mind. Okay, that means try to listen to positive music, watch positive movies like comedies or some action movie that will give you the thrills and be like adventures or make you feel energized. I see little hearts there. That's good. So try to feed yourself with good things. Feed your mind with positive things, and also feed your body with the right foods. Like now that we are comfortable at home, we can tend to, okay, I'll just eat, I don't know, chips and stay at home and just watch movies. And actually, that's not good. Try eat a lot of fruit. Try to eat a lot of vegetables or whatever, and try to keep healthy. Also try to do some exercise. That's also I don't know, you release adrenaline and good hormones that make you feel good. And also think about the fact that maybe you are scared that, okay, eventually I can get the disease. Think about this. There's so many things you can do about it. Just take care or whatever, right? But if you get the disease, then be preventive. The healthier you are, the more chances you will have of being of surviving. So eat right foods, be healthy, do some exercise home, try to stay positive. That also improve your immunity system, and keep in contact with your family, with your friends. Help other people who are not feeling. Who are feeling bad. Do whatever you can to improve your situation, others people's situation, and as I said before, we need to be responsible for what's coming next. So no more Netflix. Try to study, try to learn, trying to be a useful citizen for when everything will be over, and let's start a new world, stronger and more productive and happier.
Yes.
It's not all about work. You have to be happier living things. So it's our responsibility.
Yes, nice words. I agree with everything that you said. It's really, really good. And we have some comment. Maybe you want to comment it, like for the end of our conversation about this outbreak wouldn't be that huge if media haven't made it so easy spreadable, I think. What do you think about it?
I understand this outbreak wouldn't be that huge if media is spreadable. I'm not sure what you mean. I think thanks for positive vibes. I think well, of course, I put a lot of maybe pressure on the media before, saying, "Oh, media didn't do it that well." Of course, we have to be grateful for media. That I have to absolutely say. We were getting informed thanks to them. So maybe it would have been worse if it wasn't because of the media. That is true. That's a very interesting point of view, which I was missing. So thanks for pointing that out. I don't know if that is what is spreadable in terms of information. So yes, absolutely, it's good. Yes, and I have to absolutely recognize that as well.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, so let us also be thankful for media and people who work in the area who are also risking their lives, right, to be out there and having us informed. So thanks, guys.
Thanks. Okay, so thank you so much for this great interview. It was so interesting to hear you, to see you.
Yeah, thanks very much. Thanks for having me.
Yes, and
And
I hope
thanks
you will stay
for the
safe.
interest.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Keep safe and yeah.
Thank
Have
you.
a good day.
Okay, have a good day today and yes.